All right, I'm turning off my shit. I mean, at least my notification thing.
Cool.
Unless the door goes. If I get Amazon, I'm going.
You got to go.
You know why?
Why? What is it?
New optical cable.
What's optical? What do you mean?
For see these speakers?
Oh yeah.
They weren't connected.
Oh, so. This is for show?
No, they connect to
a wireless something.
They connect to the Bluetooth, but I want a hard line.
Oh, okay, cool. Cheers, man.
Cheers, buddy. Welcome to my
Dynamite.
home.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah,
really
cool.
good. I guess we could just officially start. But thank you for having me in your living room.
Started.
Yeah, I didn't even drink that shit. I just did a faux pas there.
Oof. I'm supposed to look in my eyes too.
Yeah, I kind of got excited about this.
So we're going, right?
Yeah.
I'm shouting out Andrew Hicks then because he just texted.
Oh, you can answer them, dude. Honestly, like I'll fill space. I don't mind. It's cool.
What's up, bro?
I don't even know if the camera's straight on. I think we're good. But yeah, Dano Pendygrasse, man. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Now that I'm sitting here talking to you, it's cool.
We've talked so many times, and you've never been excited about it.
I know.
And now,
usually I'm like, oh god, here we go.
Feck.
But
feck him again.
No, I think it's cool. 11th floor of how many are we on right now in this building?
11.
Your PC, your penthouse condo, really?
That's right,
dude. Legit.
Yeah. Southeast corner.
Fucking A. That's cool. I always see your pictures from your balcony. You're like, East Side or East Van. Which way's East Van? That way. Yeah. Is the East Van sign?
It goes straight down Cordova. So we've got the street view there, and then south it's like Sun Tower and the Dominion buildings over there, City Hall, the Science World you can't really see, but
cool.
Both stadiums.
Sick.
Yeah, it's all right here.
I'm gonna check, make sure it's recording. We're gonna keep talking.
Yep. This place is when they first made Vancouver. The streets there were like 3x3 streets, and this is like the geographic center of the very first Vancouver. So this is like the heart of this old city. Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so now you know,
dude.
There's your history lesson.
I would only expect you to have a place and know that history of where you're living.
Do you want to hear a funny story? Another funny story?
I do all the time.
So when we were moving in here, I went into the Vancouver archives and looked for photos of this street because it's old, right?
Yep,
so it's one of the oldest streets around. And I found one from like 1901. And it looks down our street from the far end, and it's like, I don't know, the king was here or some shit. And so I'm looking at the photo, and I look really close to see if the quality is good enough so I can blow it up and put it on our wall.
Sure, yeah.
And I get in there, and it says Dr. Duff, dentist. Dr. Duff is my wife's great-grandfather, and he had an office on this block like 3 generations ago.
You posted that somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I remember that story.
Isn't that a crazy thing, though?
Dude.
So when you're leaving, I'll show you the photo. It's on the front wall.
Dude, your front hallway has some cool history, by the way, too.
Yeah.
You're telling me about it.
Art wall.
Yeah. So, is that picture? Is the picture up then? The one that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the wall. Okay.
It's small, not big enough that you can actually see the
well,
thing.
It's from like 1901.
Yeah. Well, the photo's good. Like you could actually blow it up to a good size and see the stuff.
Oh, really?
It's pretty remarkable.
Oh, nice.
But they were, I don't know, some of those guys had big glass plate photography that the actual negative was huge.
Yeah, fine.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a dude that I remember seeing. He took this big glass plate thing in the back of this like a cube van. I think he was an ex-skate photographer or something like that.
Ian Rudder.
Yeah, I think so. This huge. He would just pull it out. It was like a big like the van was this or is like.
I have one of his prints here.
Yeah, he's still doing that.
Oh yeah,
dude, that sounds like
he's getting really art right now. He's starting to do like some weird color treatments, and he's like fucking around with the emulsion, so it does all these splatters and stuff, and it's really cool. Like I like it when he goes landscape, but I like the part where it fucks up and it looks really interesting as well. Like probably more.
It's cool. Just revert here. So just so everybody knows, I don't know whatever. This is Dano's a photographer for many years. Kind of a jack of all trades, writer, photographer, marketer. Ideas guy. Great speaker. And I just I just want everybody to know when we talk about photography, he knows what he's talking about. And that's kind of all he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. No. Before you gonna say something?
Yeah, no, I have some hours behind the lens for sure.
Yeah, for sure you do. You're probably labeled as creating some of the more iconic and original images of the recent pros in snowboarding.
I was at the right place at the right time, so I got to document a scene at its beginning.
Right.
And so as a result of that, I got to definitely shoot some like of the iconic snowboarders.
That's cool. I just saw that book you're showing me. There's some cool shit in there.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey?
photography wise, I see you're kind of hobbying right now, hobbyist for the most part.
I still shoot for client work.
Sure.
But like when I'm art directing, creative directing something, and I'll be on a shoot, I still shoot. I actually, over Christmas, I sort of made a New Year's resolution that I would shoot more on purpose for jobs.
Cool.
But it means promoting myself as a photographer again, and I'm too busy to do it.
Right.
So it basically, I actually had somebody today ask me to shoot something, so I'll be shooting something in the next little while. And I shoot constantly. I shoot a lot of street stuff, and I shoot a lot of creative shit.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I'm curious, like, I guess you kind of go through a career of photography and you move on to different careers and stuff like that. And we used to work together at a bigger brand, and I was always curious.
Do you not say the name?
I don't know. I just don't feel like they need to. I mean, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I know who it is.
Yeah, we work together. Yeah, for sure. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't say that. Actually, it's Arc'teryx. I don't know why I didn't say it. I just kind of like popped in my head to not say it. And I don't know why that is.
Sue you?
No. I just think that
it is a weird one though, because like I'm putting together. I recently put together a reel with another company that I have a strategic partnership with.
Sure.
And the reel of stuff that I did at Arc'teryx is very interesting because it runs the gamut from like photos that I've shot to ideas that I creative or art directed,
implemented,
like the whole thing. And so it's interesting. And obviously I'm not a videographer, so there's a lot of video in it, but then there's also still portraiture and the Valence catalog shit and all this strange stuff. And so when I look at my work from Arc'teryx, it's really hard to pin down like that thing,
I gotta say right now, what they're doing right now is bizarre. It's bizarre.
What do you mean, getting sold?
No, the image, like the way they're marketing, like that weird like jacket flowing in the air and stuff.
Yeah,
It got my attention.
Sure. Did it get your attention because
I love the brand
because you pay attention to Arc'teryx?
The intimate knowledge of the company for sure, I think, got me the attention. And then I'm like, well, this is really outside the box of what I'm used to, which is good because you can't just keep doing the same thing.
Of course.
And I was saying that for years. I'm like, everyone's the same thing, but it is quite bizarre, and I think it's a unique step. It's very they brought the studio into the forefront. That fourth wall's gone.
I think that started when. I mean, I don't know. I haven't spoken to the people who are doing that stuff, so I can't talk about the genesis. But from a consumer's point of view, which I am now, I watched the work that Tim Kemple did for them in the summer campaign, and he took the studio outside.
Yeah.
And so maybe some of that DNA has bled through, but. The last year's Valence campaign was totally bizarre to me.
Dude,
it was like
the guy's doing this and everything else.
Just didn't respect the silhouette at all.
What I can say,
it didn't feel premium and it didn't respect the silhouette. And I was like, I fucking love Valence. Like I love that
legit,
shit.
Dude.
And I looked at that stuff
silk.
and I'm like, it looks like trash bags. It's like it doesn't look good.
But the thing is, knowing you know it, will you still buy it?
Well,
I mean, despite the obviously barriers to entry for some of that brand.
I think it's the best product out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. I think it's great.
So
I think Arc'teryx is fucking awesome. They make great. Yeah. I mean, they have the best. They have great stuff.
Like I wouldn't hit up any of my friends there for a discount at this point. I would just buy the stuff.
Right. I still do that. I'm grimy. Yeah.
Well,
but
I don't think any of them like me enough.
Dude, everyone goes through phases. I do think though. I think it's cool that.
Do you think Chip's going to take it over?
Well, he has, right?
Well, he's part of a consortium.
He's probably just so proud to be part of it, and he's like, "Bam, I'm in there now." It took him. He had to start Lulu. He had to start West Beach. Let it go. Start Lulu. Let it go. Just to be a part of Arc'teryx 20 years later with all the Chinese people. Yeah, it's crazy.
But what if he peels it off and makes it his retirement run?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, whatever, man. Westside just got sold to a private company, right?
Yep. Onyx.
Or about to, yeah. I don't know. I think why not? I think he's a smart guy. I don't know much about him. I worked for Lululemon for. Just till I quit to save my own mental stability, but then I think it might do okay. Like I think he has intentions are strong.
Yeah.
I think the good thing that could be is that having it go into the hands of another bigger corporation that's now like corporation that owns Arc'teryx is now owned by somebody else.
Yeah.
So like how much more removed can you be?
Totally.
Yeah. And so,
well, and that, to me, that's the thing that made me think like maybe that would happen, because it starts to become a chip in a portfolio, right?
He's a smart guy. And he knows that brand on its own could profit one person immensely.
And he's worked a lot around them with like the Kwantlen School of Design that he does with Shannon.
Oh,
like,
yeah, right.
Arc'teryx is involved with that.
Yeah,
So, and he's pretty intimate knowledge. He's right over there. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, his office is right there.
Oh, his office, right? I was going to say, he probably owns this whole building.
He actually owns half of the stuff around here, for sure.
Yeah. I think that it's good for him. I think the only thing I would say is that...
I wish that happened. I think it would be amazing.
Great. I'm curious. The only thing I could see is, why would the parent company let it go? Because it's probably the profit margins are giant.
I think so too. I think it's kind of one of the jewels in the crown there.
Overpay for it to get it and then be proud to have it is, I think, what he would do.
Yeah.
Have to do.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's cool. I think this town is, it breeds great companies. You think of like all these small brands coming out of Arc'teryx. Designers who have left Arc'teryx moved on to do things like that work with RYU, work with 7Mesh, work with whoever the fuck else, Lululemon. Like, it's pretty much like incestual. They all travel around, but I think it's really cool.
We did work with Tony and Trina last year.
Oh, cool.
And they're just great, great,
dude.
Yeah.
I bump into them once in a while at festivals and in Squamish, whatever, and it is a great.
You're right, though. There's a ton of talent that comes out of that place.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's sought after too. Like, when you, not only are you there, you're probably getting headhunted on a regular basis if you're someone of note.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I think that's cool.
I was only there for 3.5 years, but like I learned more in that little section of time than almost any other point in my career. It was intensive. But also probably because I went from doing like just a lot of content creation and the stuff for Monster or
you were
whatever.
Deep in the scene of the cultural side of snowboarding and the scene still, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And then moving to Monster, like, opened that up to some other stuff other than just snowboarding.
Sure.
But then when it was Arc'teryx, it really became about apparel. And that's where I've kind of ended up. Like, not entirely, but a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is still apparel. Well, and I fucking love it,
Yeah.
I love it.
It doesn't pigeonhole you. Like, if you work for a filmer for Monster, you're kind of in the action sports program, whatever it is, in the chasing your tail type thing.
Yeah.
Apparel, it's applicable anywhere. Everyone wears clothes, everything else, everybody does everything, right? So
totally.
I think it's pretty cool like that. But I also think, for me, when I worked there, it was one of the best times of my life too. I mean, things go up and down super bad.
You seemed miserable.
Well, I'm always kind of like, I was miserable near the end for sure.
Yeah.
But it was my own mental state, I think.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned from Lulu is that I was in my own brain too much.
Yeah.
But then I realized I didn't want to be part of that either. But I look back on it and I think that Arc'teryx did a lot of great things for me. They helped me out a ton for sure, like when I was mangled.
Yeah.
But I think the changes people make in their industry, like I think I made some big switches. You made some big switches. I think people who are willing to do that, you have these, like, they're not as deep experiences, but you learn so much about the top level what's going on. So if, say, you were still in photography, you would be like deep in photography.
I think about that a lot because I watched, like, when I moved to California to start the magazine and stopped making photography my number one priority and made it just like part of my gig. Yeah. I recognized that it was going to be a bit of a shift, but I always felt like, I can always get right back to photography. And I came back and started working for Monster, and that was like the end. Like, that was, and it wasn't the end of photography. No. I still shot with them and I still shot with Arc'teryx and I still shoot but like in terms of being the primary focus of my career, that changed. And I always look back at that kind of time as a really interesting decision, and I know why I made the decision, but sometimes I'm like, the other way would have been better. But I look at photography right now, and it's like a really tough place to make a living. Sure. I'm curious, taking the pressure off yourself as a photographer to work on these things like Monster or Arc'teryx, whatever, where you weren't the primary focus of photography. Yeah. You get to either maybe not step back on purpose, but forcefully step back from it. Do you think it gave you more rejuvenated approach to it when you got back into it again? Like 100%. And then it also gave you perspective on, like, hey, here's how it's perceived around me while I'm trying to take photos, when I'm in it with the camera all the time. But I step back and watch someone else shoot, see where things, I'm trying to tell them how to shoot. It's going to help you learn how you shoot, I would guess, right? Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's interesting. But also, I mean, I really had, I had learned to shoot for filling magazine pages. Like, sure. I was an editorial photographer, and I shot for covers and spreads. Like and then when I did a story, I shot all the details around it so I could tell the story. Right. So I mean, I that's how I shot. Right. When I stopped shooting for magazines and stopped shooting for clients and started shooting for me, I didn't know what I liked. Right. You know, and so there was a long period of just trying to like wade through that and go like, what's interesting in photography to me, and the answer is everything.
Yeah.
But like what I really want to shoot, that's a harder question, you know.
Do you think photography can stand on its own now more than it did in the past? Do you think photography now, the way photography is going, the number of people doing it, understand it less, and that there needs to be a story beside the photos, whereas it maybe in the past the photo told the story more clearly on its own? Is that even a question to ask? I don't even know.
It's a really good question, and I think that you know most photographers are grappling with that.
Right.
You know, that what does photography mean at this point? It's been super devalued in a lot of places, so it's you know, it's not worth as much in terms of getting paid.
Sure.
And it's so ubiquitous. It's much harder to take an original photo.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram. How long did it take us to talk about Instagram?
I was gonna say, dude, I think you just read my mind. I was like, you have to say Instagram when you refer to photos these days. That's a question.
Totally.
Yeah.
So there's an account that I follow that is called like Instagram Repeat or something.
Oh yeah. And all the feed of the. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, it finds these photos that everyone shoots and then it posts a bunch of them, and it's just crazy,
dude.
So everyone thinks they have original thought, and then they're like, not at all.
Okay, so do you think that photography is more important now, and photography is not as good as it was, but it's more important now? Or do you think it's
I don't think it's not as good. I think it's better. I think
you think so?
Oh yeah.
Do you think,
I mean, I think that there's more good photography out there than there ever has been before.
Right. Okay.
I think that because it has become so interesting to so many people,
Yeah.
that more people are doing it.
Sure, more exposure.
So, you know, that means there's a lot of shit too. But when, like, prior to like the Kodak Brownie coming out, and like, you know, the photos were only made by one guy in a town, and you went to his place and you took your photo. Then there was these box cameras, and suddenly everyone could take them.
Right.
Were all those masterpieces? Of course not. They all went in the trash. You know, we look at them now. If you find them in your grandpa's, basement,
sure,
and it's like, holy crap, that's amazing. It's not amazing. It's a crappy snapshot, but it's 40 years or 140 years old, or whatever. Not 140.
Sure, whatever. It's older than you.
So, anyways, most of that Instagram shit is just going to go away. Like, it literally is just going to go away.
Stuff,
but it'll go away. Like, the accounts will die. The imagery will disappear. So the stuff that will last is stuff that is considered and stuff that's printed. So it still matters, you know. Like, when you pick up that backside magazine and look at the images in it, it's like a tangible experience. Like, I buy photo books constantly and addictively. I can't stop doing it. There's a new Alex Soth right there that's really, really good. Jason Lee's book there.
Jason Lee, like
Earl.
Skateboard.
Yeah.
And dude, really?
Yeah.
He's probably got.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He shoots landscapes and kind of rural settings, and it's really along the lines of the new topographic kind of shit. But without getting super down that rabbit hole, that kind of stuff is the stuff that'll last. The things that people are willing to print. The digital stuff is throwaway. There's always going to be throwaway culture in any art. There's always going to be copiers. There's always going to be, you know, but there's tons of really good work out there. And I think that we're starting to discover people from the 80s and 90s, like just near the end of film, that were maybe undiscovered. I think it's interesting. What's happening in photography is it's breaking out into all kinds of different subgenres almost, you know?
Yeah.
So there's film photography and digital photography. There's, of course, And I mean, there was always kind of like, portrait, landscape, blah, 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 but it was like film photography. Yeah. There was 35 millimeter, there was like candid stuff, and then there was large format, and so it was took longer and bigger process. But now it's like infinite. So the guy who's the most expensive photo ever sold, a guy named Gursky. His most recent stuff is like digital collage, and it's terrible. I fucking hate it, but you know, he's a photographer.
Isn't there a guy who took a photo? It was like, I think it was like in like the canyons and like wherever, and it was like there was like a most expensive photo ever taken or sold, and it was like of like the Grand Canyon somewhere, these marble canyons, and it was like this, like the light came in, there was some kind of like spirit looking in or something like that, and this. Is that so bizarre? I don't think that's like, there was a controversy behind
that
it.
Guy's because it's not real.
No,
like he basically transferred money from one account to another. It sounds like.
Oh, really?
Okay. And made and increased the value of his photo, but it wasn't a real sale. There's no the real value of stuff is if there's is like the reseller market.
Sure,
if somebody else is willing to pay that down the road, then it's worth that.
Right.
But his name's Peter Lick, and he's got galleries all over the place.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, I mean, he's obviously like a millionaire, but it's like kind of schlocky, trite photography. I think most like art photographers look at it like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It's stuff for the masses though, you know? They're like, ooh,
well, there we go.
Antelope Canyon. How many times have you seen that photo? A trillion
I could
times.
go do that tomorrow and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but that's the thing.
But not far off with an iPhone, you know?
Dude. Okay, so that thing. So we talk about photography in the past, and people would like, in the past, you would have to search for the newest way to take a photo as it progressed into like the technology side. Yeah. Now, people are going back to find the oldest way to take a photo, maybe not, maybe generalizing, and then trying to like maximize that quality, and that's where there's a
or creativity. It's not
but that's where I think art will come into it. As far as like you take the technical stuff out of photography and put it back into composition and everything, like where you're setting it up and just like that.
I feel like the only people who are getting noticed for art photography are people who are shooting film.
Is it fine art now? Like, is that what it is now? Is that what photography is now?
Yeah,
like what film is, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because it's not a...
And I think that it goes back quite a ways. Like, there are a lot of, especially street photographers and portrait photographers, that their work has been considered fine art for a long time.
Right.
But it took a long time to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so. Yeah. We don't talk about Instagram and stuff like that. I feel like... if Instagram I don't even know why I'm asking this question, but if Instagram goes away and that the platform doesn't allow for the pushing of photography around, do you think that people will seek out photos still, like in a way that was, because once we've been serving to them now? Yeah, I don't think so. It's kind of a sad thing to think about. I love it.
I mean, honestly, I think that it's really interesting that the platform dictates so much of what's happening, because people who don't care about the platform are continuing to do work and they don't care,
and they'll probably be fine.
I don't consider a photo to be anything. I consider a body of work. So I want to see what you've been doing for a decade. I don't want to see what you did today.
You know what I'm curious? You know what, when I see most Instagram accounts, so I look at it and I'll say, like, if I look at mine, for example, you can just see seasons change, see things I do in my life goes zigzag and changes and
which
changes.
Is really interesting, right?
Yeah. It's a way to look back on someone. And sometimes I'll post ones I took photos, randomly when I think I'm a good photographer. I'll post like 4 ones that I found on my hard drive, whatever. Yeah. So it disrupts the chain of history. But as a photographer, and on Instagram, if you're showing your business, you don't do that. Right. For the most part. I mean, obviously you can't post what you haven't shot yet, and you don't. But I feel like there's a true way to showcase your photography, and I feel like the story on my Instagram, let's say, is progression of life through as I go, right? Yeah. As just a regular person who's not promoting anything. Yeah. As a photographer, do you think you still find personality in that collective?
Yeah, I think that that is a curation that you've curated. Okay. And it is a body of work that you've chosen. Yeah. So for sure, there's value in that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of photographers are terrible editors of their own work.
Yeah, well, everybody. When I edit podcasts, I try to find the things I think it's funny. Yeah, that somebody else is funny. Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
especially if you have like a non-standard sense of humor. Right?
Sure. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I cut you off again, but okay. So I know we're talking about photography a lot, but I'm really stoked on this. And I think when we talk about photo competitions, what happens? What do you prefer? A life's work or a limited time to shoot a certain number of photos to produce this?
Sorry, say that again.
So if you think of a photo competition, I think they're all kind of washed for photo competitions. Yeah. I think it's a shame. I think it should be somehow reinvigorated. But do you think when someone says you have 4 days to shoot this, or I want to see your life's work condensed into 10 minutes, where do you think there's the sense of pressure for those few days? Yeah. But also the sense of pressure of condensing a life.
I think that limited time photo thing is, I think it's super interesting, and it does show your talent to achieve a certain thing. Yeah. And that works well for things like, for action sports, sure. More so than it does for just about anything else. Okay. There have been like single roll competitions. I don't know if it's still happening, but there used to be one in Vancouver where they'd give out a roll and then, blah, blah, blah. And the work wasn't really super strong as far as I was concerned anyways. I think it's way more interesting to have somebody have an idea and shoot it for a really long time until they're satisfied that they've captured that idea and it's telling that story.
Like rehearsing a song for 10 months before you put it out.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. And in photography, it's interesting too, because that, there are a lot of misses along the way, and you sometimes don't know that they're misses until much, much later.
Right.
Sometimes there are wins that you don't see until much later.
For sure. Yeah.
Like the context changes, and then
It's kind of feeling my life.
changes.
I'll be a win when people figure it out later. I'll be a win.
Have you ever gone like back and looked at what you've done in the last 12 months, and you're like, some days you'll sit there and go like, I haven't done shit, and you look at the last 12 months and you're like, holy fuck, I've done a lot.
Yeah.
And you, like, I think that you don't necessarily, as context changes, the images that you make, the meaning behind them changes, and so some things can pop out and be like, holy shit, somebody dies, and suddenly like an average photo is amazing. Sure.
Yeah, right.
I have a really average photo of Noah Selaznick that I took, where he's just like, he was actually, somebody else was taking his picture, and he saw me, and he was like, kind of sneered at me, and it's run like, since he passed away, a dozen times.
Well, captured his essence in like a very.
It's
like,
very much his personality,
yeah.
which is it. And at the time, it was almost a throwaway photo.
Yeah, you didn't throw it away.
I did not.
That's cool.
I actually am a photo hoarder. I don't throw away very much.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I found a click and toss camera there, whatever they're called, in my junk drawer in my house, and I'm like, it's full.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it's from, or I'm like, I remember having it. I'm like, I don't even want to develop this because I don't want the person who develops it. I don't even know where to go. First of all, I think Rick Clare probably still does it in Whistler, I'd imagine. But I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like, I don't want to develop it because I'm not sure what's on there, and if it sucks, I'll be disappointed. But I might find a gem of something.
So just today, I shot some medium format stuff on the Hasselblad of Murray.
Okay.
Murray Seipel has a studio a block away, and so he paints up there. And so I've been up a couple times, and the first day I shot some digital stuff, and then I went back with the Hasselblad and I shot some of that. Yeah. And so it's medium format film, and I was putting it aside to take in, and I opened up kind of this film bag that I have, and there's like 4 rolls of exposed medium format film on there. I have no idea what they are.
Wow.
So now I'm looking at those like, I have no idea.
It's pretty cool.
I don't even know what camera they were shot.
Right.
So could be anything.
Have you kept up your camera equipment over the years but not being focused on it? You still you still buy the new stuff and move on? Okay, cool. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I don't, not as much as I used to probably, although it's more important with digital because the changes are vastly better. With film, you could use a super old camera and it wouldn't matter that much because it was all about
the film,
the glass and the film, and the way you press the button didn't matter as much. Yeah. So you could have an old mechanical camera and still take an amazing photo. Right. But with digital, with sensor technology, it's more important. So in fact, I'm buying a new camera today
nice.
From Rick Clare.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice to see.
I still, after all this time, like I bought my last camera from him, and I'll always spend money on him or with him, because if I could save a little bit by getting some deal from B&H or something, it's not more important to me than the loyalty to a guy trying to make a living in
Anybody
Whistler.
Who doesn't know, Rick Clare is like a legendary photo guy in Whistler. He's been around for like 200 years. He just knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He's
been supportive of you, I'm sure, and of the community forever.
Every photographer who's come out.
That's cool. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know a lot about photography. I think I like taking photos with my phone. Yeah. My dad gave me his camera before he passed.
Like some people will invalidate that because it's like it's not a real bullshit. Like I fully intend to show things that came from my old crappy point and shoot all the way up to the 50 megapixel photo. But it doesn't matter if the image is good. I don't care what it's taken.
It's a good picture.
On.
It doesn't matter.
I have an iPhone 4 photo that I just fucking love. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not very high resolution, and that's sort of the charm of it too. You know,
dude, I filmed this on my phone. I mean, you were looking at my phone right now.
Totally.
I think there's like I have some photos I took on my old Sony Ericsson. It looks like just a bowl of foam. It's so fucking foggy, but it's just memories too, right?
Well, and we look back
at emotion no matter how quality the photo is.
For sure, but we look at old film and we have a nostalgia because it looks a certain way, and I think we're just starting to realize that we'll have the same sort of nostalgia for digital stuff as well.
Which I don't like. We will, but what's gonna make it? What's gonna
like crappy pixels and
lousy
lenses or whatever.
The first 2 megapixel photo.
Like how many skate movies right now are getting shot on VHS?
Well, look at Dave Brocklebank, man.
So
that guy
nuts.
is like he only shoots on it looks like he got it from the reuse center.
You probably did.
He probably rewound the tape.
But
and then
that's the look, right?
Yeah,
and,
right.
and it's no different than shooting like old expired film because you're looking for a look.
Film does expire. It does.
Yeah.
How do you preserve it? Freeze it?
People keep it in the fridge.
Is that And then if it's expired, it's fucked, or you.
Some film reacts worse than others.
Right.
Actually, even film, like all my slides are starting to get real tinty. Like some of them have a real magenta tint to them.
Right.
Over time, the chemicals shift, and so or the film itself could become brittle. So some films are more durable than others. Like some of the Fuji slide films are pretty good. Like I have some super expired Velvia that I'll shoot pretty soon. And,
right.
But so it's kind of a bit of a lottery. So at that point you get back something and it'll have a crazy color shift, or that it didn't expose right, or maybe it gets super grainy. But
and if it comes out good, does that count?
Yeah.
Like it counts but you just took a chance, and I guess taking a chance counts.
Yeah.
I guess all art is taking a chance at some point.
Yeah, it processes everything. I mean, that art isn't what you make; it's how you make it, right?
Yeah. What do you think is, like, with our advancement, the way the world's running forward here? What do you think is the biggest? What's the scariest thing you're going to see go? I don't know. If, like scariest thing you'll see go away from art. Do you think like technology will take? Will it let you use your imagination more, or do you think it'll let you use it less? Like, what do you think? What makes you kind of bummed about, like, just technology and art, or just in photos, or whatever? Is there anything that bums you out? Or are you pumped on the technology moving forward?
No, I think that we put too much weight into some technologies, thinking that they're going to be the most important thing.
Sure.
And then they just kind of aren't. You know, like over the years, 3D has been heralded so many times, right?
Annoying.
And nobody fucking cares. Nobody wants to see that.
I don't want to wear glasses. They're always ugly.
Yeah, totally. So, there are some things that, and I've seen some 3D stuff that's kind of neat, but it's just kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's not like, so I think that there are sometimes when, if like a culture gets really excited about a technology at the expense of other really good art that doesn't use the technology, that's kind of a bad thing.
Right.
But at the same time, like, all good stuff finally gets an audience. Eventually, that stuff will come out.
If it's good, it's good, right?
If it's good, it's good.
Like
I
dubstep.
don't believe that all the time. I think some stuff dies with its owners, but
right. It's
but,
and fair enough, because this wasn't, I think of technology a lot. I mean, we're using a ton of it right now. But,
yeah. How many people do you think are out there doing podcasts right now that no one's listening to? You know, like this is
billion, probably close to 1 million.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I would guess.
There's a lot of people putting a lot of effort into things that are going to be useless and do nothing.
I know. So anyway, thanks for listening.
But in terms of art, I think that we're going to see some really cool new technologies that allow new creative thinking.
Right.
I think that different audiences will see things different ways. Like I watch like movies, and a lot of movies these days don't have a very interesting storyline because they don't have to.
What's your favorite movie?
Huh?
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Yeah. Can you say one? You don't have to. I cut you off again, but that's all right.
I'm not a favorite anything kind of guy.
Okay, cool.
I have movies I like.
Okay, cool.
But like kind of like
right.
stuff that anytime that there's a great storyline and it's really well shot.
Yeah.
So
you were getting towards
that. A lot of the stuff that you'd expect.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Because you were saying, the storylines are less because the technology is better. They can be like more flashy.
People get so obsessed with what they can do that they forget to tell a story. And so that has to be more important. Somebody was trying to tell me, I shouldn't say this word because like half the podcast viewers are going to be like, "Are you crazy? That's the best movie ever."
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it. But a friend of mine was telling me how great this movie was, and I watched it. And it's fucking terrible.
I want to know after we talk about this.
Yeah, okay. For sure. But it's fucking terrible.
It probably is.
It's,
I'm going to guess I hate it if I've even seen it.
It's so obsessed with effects,
right?
And it uses every trick in the book to be successful. Right. It's got like a retro soundtrack that everyone can relate to, and then it's got all kinds of graphics, and then, anyway. But when you watch it, there's like there is the story is garbage. The story is garbage.
Yeah. So are people allowing stuff like that into their lives more without knowing it? The lack of story.
Okay, so one of the things that I think happens is that like a generation gets into watching movies with a certain technology or a certain level of technology.
Yep.
And so when they see things from previous generations, it looks like how many
Like
black and white,
Godzilla or whatever.
like how many black and white movies like without sound do you watch with subtitles? Like none.
All the time.
Like, but honestly,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
like if you go back, it's hard. But then there are people like film guys who will say that that was the best stuff ever because whatever reason. And so, you know, the things that I hold out to be like works of genius, like the new generation would say, well, it's boring. It's too slow. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not interesting enough. It's whatever thing that they would say. It's, you know, because for their generation, it's not genius. It's shit.
Sure.
And so
yeah.
the things that I like aren't interesting to the next generations. That's fine. I get that. Some of them will come back. Some of them will see that and be like,
Right.
holy shit. There are usually curators in any culture that will go back and find the genius and then
Sure.
and then convince the people of their generation. But you still got to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 6 times before
For
you
sure.
get there.
Oh, fuck. What's that movie?
I fucking hate that movie.
Oh, man, it's really crazy. Shit, I'm not going to remember. I'm going to waste for
Keep
time
asking
here.
questions. I get beer.
Yeah, sure. No, I think what as far as movies go, I kind of don't. The flashy effect stuff don't really get to me. I watch comedies. I watch things that I think. Yeah, sure. I watch things that are kind of more. I don't need to be visually stimulated. I need to be like just laugh or be like mentally stimulated.
Yeah.
I said stimulized. That was weird. But I just think that like all this flash and technology is making things. It's making things awesome for sure, but I just feel like overall storytelling is kind of being dumbed down because the mass audiences are allowing it to be done and not demanding more. And it's very few people who are demanding that.
And I don't think it takes that long for people to not even know that they're missing it.
Yeah,
Like,
and then it crashes, and then it'll start to build back up again. Because I'm
like
like,
a
what the heck?
decade and nobody
Yeah.
even remembers.
Right, fair. Oh yeah, sorry, man. It's empty.
No big deal. I've just had that thing for fucking 25 years.
Oh, cool. I'll just clamp some microphones on it and ruin it.
Do you know how many parties have been on top of that thing? It was in the Alta Vista house that had like all of the parties. It was in every house that I've had since 1992, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, 92. I was 14.
So it's gotten through.
Yeah, what time is it right now?
It's 4:12.
What time did we start? Like, what, like 3:30?
Don't know.
We've been like 45 minutes probably right now. It doesn't show me how long we've been talking for.
Don't care. I thought I had to go to Neil Young tonight. I got to go to Neil Young tonight, and it's tomorrow night.
I'm
so
bummed for you, man.
Me
I know
too.
it's tomorrow night.
I still get to go.
Yeah, you get more time to check it out. I've been going to see comedy shows recently, and because of podcasting and because of what I watch,
We went to one of the last nights at Comedy Mix. They just shut it down.
oh,
It was awesome.
fuck, dude.
We go quite a bit
Yeah.
to stand up.
People gotta laugh, dude.
Yeah.
We talk
Oh.
about things. We try to get serious and not bitch and moan about a lot of stuff. People gotta laugh, and I think that's why I do this podcast is to learn about some things, talk to friends I know, people I like, want to talk to. But I also want to make sure that people laugh enough times that it makes it entertaining. But
we better start getting funny then.
yeah,
Fuck.
for sure. Well, I'll try. I think for me that's kind of what I'm trying to get to now. Is like used to be like live music.
Yeah.
Like I got tickets to go see Theo Vaughn pretty soon here in the
Yeah.
city. He's a podcast guy I watch a bunch. That guy pours his heart out onto his podcast. It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Yeah. He's also super funny. Like,
Vulnerability is the new powerful, right?
awesome. For sure. And it should be. It should have been this way for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
People are scared. I think our society is making us scared to be vulnerable, and the ones who are the warriors who are going to be vulnerable and put it out there.
Yeah, but they'll just fucking kill you. You know?
So that's what I mean. So I mean, like the ones
Don't make
who
me
really
feel like that. Chop.
Yeah, and the ones that really have something to say, and the ones who are pretty. So you can be like vulnerable and confident at the same time, right?
Sure.
You show your vulnerability, but you by confidence by sharing it.
Yeah.
But it can get over kind of get over it, right? Like it's kind of thing where like people like put up like those false flags on Facebook and stuff, where it's like
Yeah.
whatever, like cryptic stuff. But I think
You still on Facebook?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. I use it to promote this fucking thing.
I
wouldn't
I
if
got
I-
off in like November, I think.
Yeah,
And I deactivated. I didn't delete.
yeah.
And then I was selling some prints in I don't know, a month ago or something.
Helps.
And I went back on. I reactivated to like
Yeah.
push the prints.
Yeah.
Didn't do shit. I'm like, fuck it. Deactivated again. I'm out.
So yeah, I watched my traffic on this thing, and for the most part, the last podcast didn't do well. I didn't have any video because I forgot to press play. So I don't have any content to share. But I think that most.
Do you put the video up on Facebook as well?
I don't put it native. I just put it in a YouTube.
Link. Yeah.
Only because It's like an hour and a half. I don't know if it actually goes into Facebook. I think it
Right.
is now. But
Have you ever live streamed one onto
no,
YouTube?
I've never done that actually. I probably
Why not?
could. I don't know. I kind of like
You have to have a lot of subscribers for them to.
and I'm kind of stubborn. I don't
Yeah.
really do. I do Instagram posts. I don't do a lot of stories still.
Yeah.
I'm of this
Because you don't edit, so
I don't-
you might as well live stream.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just gonna find the right person who's not super. Because I'll send this to you and you can review it if you need to. But
You know I won't watch it.
yeah, no one does. Literally,
Have to look at myself.
no one.
Fuck
Dude,
no. Honestly, I'll look at 2 seconds and go like, whew, and then
Yeah.
won't listen to it.
I'm gonna keep doing this I'm gonna keep doing this forever. I don't if people watch it or not. I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it's fun to talk to people. I think I'm gonna learn a
Did you
lot.
see that movie Bo Burnham put out, 8th grade?
No,
I want to
Oh.
talk about it.
wait.
I couldn't finish it, but
8th grade, isn't it? Isn't that Jonah Hill?
no, Bo Burnham.
Oh,
So-
he's a comedian.
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you watched his stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super inventive
Yeah.
and really like different. So his movie is about a kid in 8th grade, and I'm a big fan of his. So I was like, and it got good reviews and gave it the old college try, but I can't relate to.
Sometimes people are funny, and I go watch them.
14-year-olds. It just can't do it.
There's so I'm gonna give you.
Anyways, the lead character on it is a 14-year-old girl who podcasts to no one relentlessly. She gets 0 views, sometimes 2 views.
relentless, man. You got to keep trying.
Not saying nothing or nothing. I didn't finish it. Maybe she got an audience at the end.
Dude, I get some audience. Like,
No, I know.
So this is cool.
I'm only saying that because earlier on you were
dude.
like,
It makes me laugh that. I was out in the forest the other day biking with Levitt, my roommate.
yeah.
He's been on the podcast a bunch of times because nobody wanted to be a guest the first few weeks. But I saw Priscilla Levesque in the forest.
Oh,
She's
cool.
like, "Hey, how's it going?" We're biking. She goes, "I like the way you're doing your podcast." I'm like, "What?" People, it's really interesting that. So my good friends
Yeah.
don't really watch it,
Weird.
but the outskirts.
You told me about it and I watched right away. I haven't watched them all, but I've watched
you're
a
different.
bunch.
Like you're curious and you're like,
Yeah.
are like, you're not part of this. Like, I'm too cool to watch. I don't want to give like, I don't know. I just feel like, it's just Proctor or whatever. But like, people who I don't know, I know pretty well, but don't know that well,
Yeah.
are the ones who watch it more than my real. I don't have like 5 friends. So really, it's only 5 views anyways. I don't really care. Fuck those guys. But fuck my good friends.
Step up, you fuckers.
Yeah, I thought we were friends.
I'll be on your podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm not going to watch it.
Dude, totally.
Does Berard watch it?
I'm gonna call him out right now. I've asked him a bunch of times. He's like, "Yeah, come on over. I'll break my gear." We don't do it. But he's on the first one. I think he said he wants redemption, and I was like, "We should," and then it doesn't happen. So
But does he watch it?
no, yeah, dude. Honestly, like my views are from people that I barely know, and I appreciate it. It's awesome. I'd rather actually connect with people
Yeah.
who don't know me because it's spread the word.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, I feel like I know you. It's kind of weird." I'm like, well, that's kind of what I'm doing this
That's-
for.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like if you know me, you'll know that when I say something super offside, you're not gonna get mad at me for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I will at some point. But no, I think it's interesting that it's just become so accessible.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a whim. I didn't really think about it. I just like, I do this. And I went and bought some gear and started doing it. And then,
Well, you can do the other side. Like I was working with Carnes in the last few months, and he has put together this super great studio,
Yeah.
and he's been kind of recording stuff for 2 years.
Mhm.
And he's like, I'm not sure yet.
What do you mean, like doing podcasts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's got tons of stuff in the can, but he's like, it's part of a bigger mission for him. He's got other stuff going on, and how it all fits together. He wants to launch it, when it feels right. And right
Yeah.
now, it's like it's not accomplishing the thing he wants to accomplish. So it's not out.
Well, I've been asked by 3 or 4 people that for different brands now to help with them, do some stuff for them.
Yeah.
I consulted with the mayor of Worcester to help him with his podcast to get one going.
Mm-hmm.
I've been asked on the download to work some other brands. One I've been talking to a bunch. I met with them. One has been kind of toying with me a bit. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'd like to do it, but I also want to keep doing this a lot.
Yeah.
I started a media company called Proctor Media. A friend of mine are going to start a second podcast
Yeah.
called This Isn't Working. Which is more like just screwing around, fucking around, whatever else.
Yeah.
More than this. So we record
More than this.
yeah, dude, this is pretty tame.
Yeah. No.
I've been super fucked up before some of these podcasts. Like,
Yeah?
out till I was like, yeah, partying. I'm like, Sunday afternoon, I get drunk. We go home from the bar and for the anyway. No, I just think it's like
Let's rip out a quick episode.
I love just talking to people, and I know you
Yeah.
like talking to people too. That's why I kind of think about who I'm going to ask to be on it.
Yeah.
People who are engaging, and even if you have something to talk about or story to tell, whatever. I feel like it's an inside scoop into what's going on. Like if you and I were at a bar and someone put a microphone on us and just
Right.
listen to us, that's kind of how I feel like I should be.
For sure. I like the idea of feeling like you've walked into a conversation
Yeah.
when you listen to a podcast.
Everyone wants to eavesdrop.
Yeah.
If you're in any restaurant, if your table's too close, you're like, good. Now I know these people are breaking up. This guy's a dick. She's gonna take all his money, whatever else.
You're
Or
taking
he's-
sides. And
Yeah. He's keeping the rings.
You're ready to give advice.
totally, man. Or yeah, like he just screwed him over a business deal. Now he's gonna fucking, whatever. I feel like that's, I mean, the controversy in this isn't here, but I just feel like it's a really cool way to communicate with people. And I don't see that often. And no one sits down and has 2 hour conversation with somebody that you haven't seen.
It's true.
And when you do, it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like you don't get anywhere. At least now, you kind of feel obligated to talk.
Yeah.
Because you've got this thing in front of you.
And for the viewer at home, there was no kind of like, this is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to check the microphones.
It was literally like, I mean, just before we started, you were like, I'm going to, I didn't make any notes. I didn't do anything. We're just going to talk. And I, like I said, I've done a couple of podcasts and
there's an agenda sometimes.
With an agenda. Certainly with, with the F and Rad with the snowboard podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think I had an agenda so much. I just like, there was some, my agenda was to not tell the same stories that I've told a bunch of times, which is really difficult.
I do it all the time. For sure.
Like
my MO.
If it must be tough, like if you're the hosting, and you have to hear or get to hear yourself, you must find yourself telling the same stories.
Oh, I always say, I might have said this before, and I go into it because I'm like, well, I might have, because every podcast I listen to, people tell the same stories.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times things relate. You kind of weave this web of life, and you talk to people, and then, the story relates. I talked about it last week, and I sit down with you this week, and we're all similar. Like we all kind of have the same path. We've all kind of crossed paths the last 20 years. So we're gonna have these things that relate.
Yeah.
I think that's just the way it goes. And if it's a good story, it's a good story, man. I don't know. But it is not having an agenda.
But I think that the reason that I tell the same stories a lot is because people ask about specific things, especially in the snowboarding history.
Yeah, of course.
So when going into the snowboarding one, I was like, all right, I gotta tell. In fact, the first time he asked me to do it was right near when it started, and I said absolutely not. I've heard myself fucking tell the same stories so many times right now. I gotta stop doing it. Around 2010, I was doing a lot of kind of promo shit, and for the Olympics, I was like I did this thing with the Nemo guys where I was there was a time capsule program they called Aries,
like Nemo tents and stuff like that.
No, Nemo Designs, Trevor Graves' company out of Portland.
Okay.
And there was, I did the West Beach book around that time too. So I had done like a bunch of interviews for that, and the West Beach stories were all in there. Like once I wrote the book, a lot of stories were like, all right, that one's stamped and done. I can't tell that story again. Right. So like I just felt like I was out of stories. I'm like, I can't mine in and find a new story about that time because I've told them all. And then time goes by and somebody goes like, oh, what about this? And you're like, oh yeah, I haven't talked about that,
Yeah, like that's like,
and some are classics. Sometimes you play the hit single because it's a fucking great story.
Dude, you think that when any band that goes on stage who has like play your classic, I was like, here we go, when the crowd gets pumped, right?
Yep.
Because the band hears it all day, but you don't. It's like working in a restaurant and someone making the same joke to you every day. When a new customer comes in and goes, oh, hot in here, eh? Or whatever. You're like, yeah, fuck, I know, but no one knows that joke just got told you 2 seconds ago, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like
I'm sure every industry has that, right?
Oh, sure.
That thing where it's like the person thinks they're being unique.
Is it really waterproof? Fuck, yeah, right, yeah.
Do you know, it's funny how like we all think we're fucking snowflakes and original and unique, right? But there's like limited amount of originality in the world.
Sure. I
was listening to a podcast with a guy named Alex Bogowski who has a agency called Crispin Porter Bogowski out of Denver.
Yeah.
And he was behind Subservient Chicken. Do you remember Subservient Chicken?
No, I mean, it sounds like I might remember it, but
it was a Burger King campaign just when computers got good enough that you could like stream stuff.
Okay, cool, right.
And so Subservient Chicken was a guy in a chicken costume next to a couch, and you typed in something and told the chicken to do something.
Oh,
and then
cool.
And the chicken would do it.
It'd be awesome to do right now. Sorry.
So right. So you'd go sit on the couch, chicken, and chicken would sit on the couch. So they're filming all this stuff, and he said like after 500 hits, there were no longer any unique questions.
Sure.
Like people had said all the dirty stuff and blah blah blah. Like they ran out of new questions, and then Subservient Chicken, like it could just run on the footage they'd shot because there's not that much human creativity.
All these strangers can only come up with that,
like crowdsourcing the entire
universe that could access
anybody who was connected, and they could only come up with 500 questions. That's pretty interesting.
It is interesting. I think that
Because we all think that we're like unique, but
Yeah.
we ask the same questions, we tell the same jokes.
Dude, yeah, for sure. Like that's the thing is, uniqueness is.
I remember one time you told me you were talking about getting ready to do some stand up, and you told me, do you know how hard it is to be funny when you're not telling somebody else's story?
Yeah.
Because like almost all of the times that we're being funny or telling stories, it's like recounting something that you'd seen that was funny or blah blah blah. But like being originally funny is really a difficult thing.
It's hard because the person has to get inside and understand the story. If you tell some story about somebody else, you can put context and they might get it. But if you just make up a story, or just whatever, your story's about you. Like I had tons of funny stories, but none of them have good endings. That's the thing.
Do you know when people ask me about you, I always say he's never going to be happy until he finally does stand up.
Well, that's why I'm doing this because it scares me, man. And I've been up there before, and my whole thing is like I just like laughing. Yeah. And I even like at work, you'd see me like I'd walk around, I wouldn't even sit at my desk. Yeah. I'd be like fucking annoying guy. What's going on? I'd fucking make some kind of dumb joke or like talk to somebody, and I wouldn't because I'm like I just didn't want to do any work. I never want to, like, I do work. People, I haven't been called out yet, but I know that I have to live on personality. I know that the way I have to operate is that. And stand-up scares me because, again, someone's like, hey, tell a joke. You're like, fuck, here we go. I can't just tell a joke. Right. But stand-up is the ultimate tell us a joke without even anybody asking you. Yeah, but it's... You got to learn.
It certainly is, but it's do a bit, not tell a joke.
I built my own walls in front of my. That's all I've done. It's not because I can't do it. I mean, I don't know, but I think. Do you listen to Stuart Lee or watch Stuart Lee? I don't know who that is. He's a British comic. Oh, he's so fucking meta. Like he deconstructs the form. So when he's telling jokes about comedians telling jokes. Right. Like, okay. Yeah. He's one of the he's the kind of guy that. Some people watch him and absolutely despise him. Just like, get that fucking guy off the stage. And to me, he's the absolute best thing that has ever happened to comedy. Dude, the thing that gets me is I would rather sit with you and chat and tell jokes and rib and have a good time and make jokes on this off the cuff kind of thing. Yeah. I am not, my brain's kind of mangled and scrambled, I guess. I don't have the ability to plan something out very well. Right. It's hard for me to plan things out. So, but I'm very instinctual. But when you go to stand up now, like dudes are on the stage with their phone, like referring to their, like they don't even remember shit. Their stuff is in their phone. I know, and that's what I don't. I want to go. I want to go back to the true old school of like I'm really caught between like say Seinfeld, but like I'll tell a joke from 20 years ago because the fans want to hear it. Yeah, like the old like play your best hits, right? Yeah. But I'm also of the opinion that guys like Theo Von and people like they always have a new thing coming on, which I think is great too. So I'm torn, and I'm like, I'm also 40. I'm like, I don't know if I can I can't commit to it. So if it's outside of my desk, I'll stop doing it. So 40 is an interesting point, right? It's not a big deal to me. Like, I feel like 40 has not affected me at all. I don't think, but it's interesting because I think a lot of people hit 40s and 50 and they think that they're like kind of their windows are closing, Yeah. And I just read it's not. No, like that. I read a study about creativity, and your peak creativity is like in the early 20s and your 50s. Yeah. Like you actually become creative again in a different way. And I think that you almost have to prepare yourself if you're going through that rut in your 40s. Mm-hmm. You have to prepare yourself for when that next wave comes because it's coming. Yeah. And then don't have your doors closed at that point. Don't be shut down. Sure. Don't be like you got to be ready to go. That's kind of why I'm doing this. So in your 20s, you are creative because you're not sure what's next. You pull things out of the air. Because you're fearless and yeah. And when you're 50, you're creative because you learned so much. You learned what to build something on. I think. And you have wisdom. Yeah. For me, I'm being 40 and doing this. I didn't even think about where I was in life. I'm going to start a podcast and just do it and talk to people. Sure. But I think that a lot of people like that idea. What you do with that is the tough part. Sure. Like I like the idea of conversations like this, and it's why I said yes to you, and it's why I've said yes to podcasts, is because, like you said, it's pretty rare that you get to sit down and have a 2-hour conversation with somebody. Sure. Like it's actually exceedingly rare. Sure. If you have a
a dinner party with your friends, the chances that you're going to talk to one person the whole night, or even then, it's rare. So,
and you'd be like distracted. Hey, and someone's like trying to get your attention.
Totally.
You have to cut this person off, or someone's like comes up to your conversation and goes like staring at you, like you're gonna go, hey, what's up? And then you have to cut this thing off.
Like, don't you think that is like
annoying.
even if you never even publish this, it's worth it?
Yeah, I think so.
You know,
because I get to reconnect with you and chat with you.
Yeah.
Like, I've said it before. I've said it before, and I'll continue saying it. Strangers fascinate me.
Yeah.
I like talking to friends for sure, but I will say hi to people that I've never seen before or whatever. And I always do it in the trails when I'm biking, or I'm like, hey guys, and I'm like, hey, hello. And they're always kind of, what's that? And it makes me laugh. I'm like, come on, just say fucking hello. Like, just whatever. Yeah. We're all trying to breathe the same air,
especially in the trails when everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Like if unless you're picking up my dog shit, like I don't have a dog, but you know what I mean? Like, but I think that we got to get along somehow.
Yeah.
Like I say fucking rude things and offside things a bunch, but in the grand scheme of things, we all get along somehow. And I feel like friends, like I said, my good friends don't watch this because like we've heard Proctor a million times all day.
Yeah.
So, but I think to me,
so how can you facilitate this exact thing, but do it with strangers? Because that would be really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's like, there's a podcast called Anonymous something or blah, blah, blah.
I have no idea. I don't watch many podcasts. I watch like 3 of them.
I listened to it once and didn't like it, didn't listen to it, but people love it.
Yeah. If there's no video, I don't pay attention to your podcast.
Oh, interesting.
I literally like, I just, if I'm in my car, I'll play a podcast I've listened to or watched. It's really weird. I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't. The audio thing to me, I'm not there. I'm distracted. Like sorry, I'm not distracted enough to watch it. Like I need to. I don't know. It's just I have this whole thing where it's like.
Do you watch them while you're working?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that.
Like
Too much.
I don't like. It'll be beside me, so I have 2 computers. I'll work. Yeah. And then I'll hear something cool. No, I'll rewind and go back and I'll watch. Yeah. Because to me, comedy, communication, interaction. Even with MP3s, listen to like the ongoing history of new music all the time with Alan Cross.
Yep, me too.
He's got his podcast going on. He talks about MP3s. This is a big thing I look about in life. And he talks about MP3s have dumbed down music. You don't hear the notes you would play or hear in the background like on a record player.
Yeah.
Because they tried to compact so much music into one spot. You miss things. So for me,
is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's tested it. And he's actually it's like scientific fact. There's like less.
Sure, I know it's compressed for sure.
And you miss. There's things that they leave out. You miss those like really intricate music notes in the background stuff, and then the live sounding, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that it's an encompassing experience. I'm used to. I'm a visual guy, so I need to see things to learn.
Yeah.
Better than listening to learn.
I'm that way with like tutorials and stuff.
Yeah.
You can learn anything online these days.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's really hard to read a web page. But
imagine
it's easy to watch a video.
Imagine learning how to like upload a video to YouTube and you just hear an audio version of it.
Oh man,
what the fuck's going on? You'd be like, what does this mean?
Yeah,
go to your top corner of your screen. Like, for me, I want to see your hands move. I want to see how you act with your face because you're talking and you're.
Fuck, I got to start using my hands.
Yeah, I got to find a good screen grab. So, I just think I've never been asked this many questions on my podcast before, but
see, that's one of the. So every time I've done one, I've ended up asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, because you're curious.
And then I'm like, oh fuck, maybe I should do a podcast.
I think it's great, dude. This has no.
Like, I don't have enough time in the day to do it, right. But I still want to do it.
Lots of people are. I keep getting emails now. Like a friend of mine just started a financial one.
Yeah.
But he might start a video one, and I'm like, they're like asking me questions. I'm like, guys,
I was thinking about like hitting up Rick Stovall and because he does the visual revolutionary one, and sure. I know he's really busy with it, and I was like, I bet he could use some help. Maybe I'll just do a couple episodes for him. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. But
it's tough. I mean, it's the only really hobby I have outside of mountain biking and work and stuff. And I feel like, how do you find the time? And I've actually been busier than I have been in the past. I've taken on side jobs and stuff. And doing some filming projects and stuff. And I just find this time in my life where I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to try and do tons of stuff.
And it's, I mean, you called yesterday, day before? No. When did you?
I hit you up on Twitter.
Hit me on Twitter.
You mentioned something.
So that was like a week ago or something like that. And I was in Whistler on Sunday for Mother's Day.
Yeah, you know what? I realized I forgot it was Mother's Day.
Yeah. So I actually thought, I could put a extra hour in there, and then that hour got stolen by a guy who bought a couch for me. So
sure.
Anyway,
dude, I realized at the time I was like, what am I trying to cram? I'm like, Mother's Day. I was gonna stop texting you. I was like, I should just pay in the ass. I knew you're up visiting your family.
Yeah, but it was cool. Then you're down 2 days later, so perfect.
Yeah, and I don't travel much for this, so I've only done like 2 out of kitchen studios. again, it's just fucking awesome to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And someone who's got like,
But isn't that kind of like one of the essential things about being a human?
yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
Yeah. Communication. And you have tons of stories. I know your background is deep and vast, and you've got, you love telling stories. You're a storyteller. And so I definitely, I'll talk to most people, anybody really. But I strategically pick people. Like I wouldn't have bugged you and talked to you much.
I said yes because I was like, oh, good, it won't be all about the same things that typically it is, like snowboarding.
Yeah.
You know, like I've told those stories enough as far as I'm concerned. You know.
Okay. A couple things.
Yeah.
This will be a pretty broad question. What are you most proud of that you've created outside of photography?
Oh wow.
Because you could say whatever, a certain photo. Okay, you can use photography, but maybe it's like a collective. Is it the West Beach book? Is it like I don't know.
No, I like the West Beach book. I'm not the most proud of it though, because
Right.
it's like it was a job. You know,
Right.
it was a commercial thing.
Sure.
It wasn't pure creative, and it was. There's things that bug me about it.
Sure.
You know, for
I
sure.
mean, yeah.
But I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I still nobody has told that story. You know, like
Right.
still nobody has really like sat down to write any history of snowboarding. It's so. I
Well,
don't know.
perfection is like the evil of finishing any project.
Listen, I put out enough magazines over the years to know that there's never anyone
Right.
that doesn't
you-
have typos in
Have
it.
you only worked for
Everyone.
Future?
No, I was a senior for snowboarder for 7 years.
Oh,
and
right, so we're
2 years for Transworld.
Okay, cool.
But I launched Future, so that was
Right,
the,
okay, yeah.
that was the big deal
Yeah.
and that was what changed the path. Was
Are you proud of that?
Future?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn sure I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first few issues were pretty cringy. The design, it took a while to find its speed.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of pressure from the parent company to look a certain way, and I don't think that we really. I think our process of getting going didn't have enough time to really develop our visual language, and we were so concerned with content that we weren't concerned with how it looked. Right around the same time, Draplin came out with Snowboard magazine. It was just beautiful, and so we looked really bad by comparison.
Is Draplin? He's just a designer now, right? Not just, but he's a design studio in the Pacific Northwest somewhere.
In Portland, yeah.
So Berard and I we're gonna start we're gonna start an agency.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it the Handshake.
Yeah.
And we were talking about kind of trying to get in touch with him, but I seemed like he was. We actually both ended up getting jobs.
He's the hardest working guy in the world.
Yeah, he is, right?
He would like, yeah, he would drop in and like take the job for sure. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say for sure, but.
No, but I just heard about it. I didn't know who he was.
I'm not super tight with Draplin, but we spent a little bit of time working together and have seen each other since. And he was kind enough to put my name in his Canada poster when he did like the Canada logo poster. And,
Cool.
And one of the things that happened with Draplin that was really affecting for me was that he started using my portrait work in a way that nobody had used it before.
Cool.
Like as the art director for Snowboarder, he started doing stuff with portraits that like. Before that, I hadn't put a lot of time and effort into it because people were just using like a headshot with goggles on, like who cares?
Yeah.
And then suddenly he wanted stuff that was more elaborate. And so we started doing, like sitting down and let's do some portraits. And that sent me down a road of doing portraits that I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
And, I really at some point should get that shit scanned and put online. But
I need a portrait. I need someone to take me a portrait.
Yeah?
Of me. Yeah.
I'll do it.
Leva's taking some of me, and I think it's great. I just want to, I want to get a few different styles of photography done for my podcast. But is that so? I totally derailed you on far as what you're proud of, but so
I'm
but it
proud.
sounds
I'm
like-
proud of a bunch of things.
Okay, cool.
I think
you
that
can be proud of like the effort. You can be proud of
I'm
the
proud
collective.
I'm proud of solving problems in special ways.
Cool.
And some of the stuff I did with Arc'teryx, I'm really proud of.
Yeah, cool.
But sometimes it's in context of a bigger thing that I'm not very stoked
Well,
on.
limitations, everything else. It's like again the
But I remember
environment around you.
when we did. There's a little video called Rituals, and Rituals I'm really really proud of, and not necessarily the video itself, although that some of the pieces in it that were like I think really good ideas turned out really well. It was shot really well. It was edited really well. Shot by Julian and edited by Jimmy Kimmer.
Yeah.
And but the idea of it started from a consumer insight, and then we had a meeting, and it just snapped in place, and the video was it spoke to women in a way that Arc'teryx was having a really hard time speaking to women.
Yeah.
And
It seemed kind of somewhat authentic without like even though it was the marketing, behemoth behind it.
The market research that we were getting at that point was that a lot of the women weren't really interested in the action-y videos because they were more interested in the process that got people to the activity than the activity itself. Like they're like, I want to see how they train. I want to see what gear they use and how they use their gear. I want to see what they eat. I want to see their fitness routine and whatever. And so, I built that idea about their, like, these three women's rituals to get to the thing. And then it all comes together and shows, that there's a really great cut in it that goes eyes, eyes, eyes. And there's another really great cut where they're at the rock, at the bottom of the rock. And there's like, one's a boulder, one's a trad, and one's a, I don't know, like three different kinds of climbing. And they're all like, they're from three different sites, but they're all framed exactly the same. And
that was cool. I think it came out after I left.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it was just a video, and it should have been a campaign. It was like, the whole thing, and it's really fucking funny. Actually, I saw yesterday, do you know that company End that does like online men's fashion? Maybe men's and women's fashion.
End?
End.
No, I don't know.
So anyways, they just did like a collab with, who? Somebody, maybe Converse, and they did rituals. And they had all these artists in London and their rituals. And I was just like, oh, they did the whole campaign instead of just the video.
It's funny when you think about hindsight, right? You're like, oh, we should have done this. And
well, the thing is that it didn't get briefed in.
Yeah.
Like the reason rituals happened, and the reason I'm proud of it, is because the whole, that thing, there was no brief. Nobody, and then as we're coming to like getting ready to launch the season, whoever was the person who was responsible was like, hey man, where's the
oh dude, hilarious,
where's this campaign?
He doesn't watch this,
and it was like, what do you mean where's this campaign? There is no campaign, there's no brief.
It's on your hard drive still.
And so I pulled that out of my
I remember that
in no time,
because we had to think of a hashtag and stuff,
and it was and I thought it was like, not only was it done really well, but it was a great idea that was done really well at the last fucking minute, and for no money, because there was no budget left.
Dude, I remember that actually. Fuck, those things I'm fucking flooding back. I remember because I saw it.
And it was the first time we had a drone. I think Jimmy bought a drone like just at that thing. I gotta say, and we were flying it around places you're not allowed to fly.
Dude, I gotta say, there's a crew of people I worked with at that company that were just fucking awesome to work with, and like we always pulled shit out of our ass, and it was great.
They're super super talented people.
Yeah, there's still a few of them are still there.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. No, lots of them are there.
Yeah. What's your? I don't know how long we do this for. We probably should shut it down too. But what's your next project? What's going on? What are you doing next?
I'm launching a thing of my own because I want to have a thing of my own.
Cool.
Something that's going to be
like an art project, or like a business or something?
Business.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
An apparel thing.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
And that gets me on the mountain and on the river more.
Fantastic.
So cool. I mean, so in the fall, should I talk about heavy stuff, or should I just?
You do what you want, man. It's up to you. This podcast goes whatever direction you want it to go.
So in the fall, the contract that Fissile had, that was like our exclusive contract.
So Fissile's,
that's
Dano's company that he was like a marketing, like design marketing company type thing. Okay,
full scope marketing,
apparel,
for we started based on this contract.
Sure, okay.
We left Arc'teryx to service this contract.
Sure, yeah.
And so the contract ended, and then my partner left right after. And the week he left, I went into the hospital and had a procedure done where they found a full blockage in my heart, and so it was a heavy week.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
So I had to make I had a stent put in, and it cleared it up, and so I'm alive. And
fuck,
I mean, I've been doing a lot of rehab, and I'm, it's managed well with drugs, and I ended up getting a lot of energy back because I'd been basically rolling around on flat tires for 5 years.
Yeah, I'm glad we're sitting here.
It was
cool.
heavy,
Great.
Super heavy. But at that point, you're like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Because it was a gut check.
Life changing.
I lost my brother, 3 years ago, and so like that. There's
weight behind all that shit, man.
Sure, and I'm like, I don't want to work for people I don't want to work for.
Right.
I don't want to do things I don't want to do. Now, the fiscal reality is that you have to do some of those things sometimes.
Yeah,
but
for sure,
in the midst of all of that stuff, what I really want is something that is mine, that I don't have to listen to somebody else's agenda or priority, that I can just do. And so I'm starting a thing, and I have a partner, a small partner, but who's a pal. that I want to, somebody I really want to work with. And what we're going to do is spend time fishing and snowboarding and making a little company. And so, what I did right after that was, so after my partner resigned and bought him out, and my initial instinct was to keep the office and try and grow.
Sure.
And that doesn't make a ton of sense. So we're going to get rid of the office, and I have a couple of other strategic partnerships with other people that are coming together, and I'm pitching some stuff, and I've got some cold calls that have come through, but I'm in hustle mode right now.
Cool.
And it's fun.
I bet, right?
I mean, parts of it are incredibly frustrating, but it's fun. And the bottom line is that no matter what, this little thing that I'm launching, that will kickstart in 2020, I have first samples in June. So it's pretty fucking exciting,
Sweet. You marketing guy, let me know, I'll help you out. I'm
gonna need a PR guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? I didn't know that, and I think
so that was a heavy month.
Sure.
Like lost my partner, my contract, and almost my life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well,
it was nuts.
Reach across. Cheers for whatever beers you got left there.
Cheers, beers.
Yeah.
But the great thing about that story is, and so the
from darkness comes light.
The reality is that I have genetically incredibly high cholesterol, and I didn't know that, and I know that now.
Right.
It's super easy to treat with statins. Yeah. I can take a pill and it's treated, and my cholesterol is no longer high.
Sure.
It's fucked that I didn't know that when I was 40, because I wouldn't be in this boat right now.
Right.
Or 30. I think my dad had a triple bypass when he was 30 or something like that. No, sorry, when he was like 45 or 50. And at that point, they should have said, "Hey, does your son? Do you have a son?
You know what?
He should be on statins, because this would never have happened."
My mom's had 2 heart attacks. She's got Gore-Tex makes the stents, right?
Do they really?
Yeah, there's stents. That's
Holy shit.
I think that's that's.
I have another crazy story about the procedure.
Yeah,
but
okay.
maybe I'm not going to share that with everyone.
Well, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But
it involves somebody who used to serve us beers in Whistler being in the room.
A nurse.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily a nurse, but
oh wow,
fucking awesome.
Cool.
It was awesome.
That's cool. I mean, people go through shit, man, and I mean.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close I was to being dead every day. And so that I started to have symptoms of that when I was at Arc'teryx, but I didn't know.
Because you were going the boot camps that they had there, and you were doing shit,
I was
right?
doing...
Yeah, that could have been a bad scene.
So I was doing Church of Pain one day, and I had a thing where... which is Arc'teryx's high intensity interval training. Yeah. And I had a thing where my heart raced, but that's not the kind of problem I have. I don't have an electrical problem where I frib out. I have a plumbing problem where there's not enough blood going through. But it was a symptom of that thing happening, and I didn't know it at the time. Right. And I had to stop doing Church of Pain at that point.
Right.
And what it did is it manifested itself in me at anxiety.
Sure, 'cause you don't know.
And so if my heart started racing, I would think I would start, I wouldn't have a panic attack, but I would have anxiety. And I used to always walk up the stairs. We're on the 11th floor, and in the old place on the 24th floor. I used to walk up the stairs to 24, and then even here. And one day I was my heart started going, and I was claustrophobic, and I was I broke out in a cold sweat, and I'm and I gained 25 pounds, and I was just I couldn't exercise. Right at the same time, my meniscus was fucked, and I couldn't step off a curb without my knee going. It was just
always just goes.
Just it was all this stuff at once. Wow. But when they put the stent in, literally the next day, I felt like a different person.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
So you've always been a pretty motivated guy. You think that motivates you more now?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In
a different way, maybe.
Because you're in the hustle now, and is your motivation? Probably more focused motivation. You know what you want now more, and you're willing to you're not willing to let bullshit get in the way.
I'm one of those guys who, so we've said curious a lot of times. I'm super curious.
Yeah.
So the internet's the worst thing that ever happened to me. So
it's a rabbit hole of shit.
For sure, it's you know what I'm interested in right now, and I'm gone for 8 hours.
Yeah. Right.
So I have to be very careful to not fall down those holes. But I think that the motivation is just about a prioritization. It's really about I really want to do work with friends.
Yeah.
So since this kind of conversation I had with myself in November, I've got 4 things going with friends.
Right.
You know, like I've just reached out to people and said, let's do
It's
something.
good, man.
You know,
it's cool. I mean, do what you want to do, and if you work with people you like, enjoy your life, and if you're gonna fucking struggle through trying to make a business going, it must be with friends.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
why? If you,
For sure.
I mean, the end goal is to be happy.
And you know, like one of the things, a guy, we took a swing at a thing, and we like really dug into it, and it didn't work out. You know, and I just saw him today, and we just kind of like put the thing to bed for the last time. And it was worth it because I still spent a bunch of time with him.
Yeah.
You know, it was fucking fun.
It's cool. Yeah, dude, I didn't know that. I'm happy where you're at. I'm happy where you're going through for sure. I think it's cool. Not what you're going through. I'm happy what you're going to go through.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think sometimes you need a kickstart, and if it's like defibrillator has to do it, or it's gonna be like a hole in your chest.
I think that you have this idea that and this, you know, I'll tell you, like when my brother got diagnosed,
sure,
and it was like, how did you not know? And
you getting some messages.
it's my wife. I should answer.
You can answer.
Should I
Sure.
answer?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think she wants to be on the thing.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Hold on a sec.
I'm not gonna edit it out. Dano's wife, everybody.
Hi. You're on a podcast.
Perfect timing.
What time is it? Oh
Well,
my
no.
God! I totally want to talk to you right now.
Dano's wife is in somewhere, other part of the world. He's going to meet her soon. But we can end this.
I saw that he texted when I was in the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta go with it.
We can end this.
Okay, I'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.
I feel bad now. We can pull a plug on this, man, for sure. If you got to talk to her.
I totally want to talk to her.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
She's in Athens right now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And they're having meetings, but she works in the shipping industry, and those guys drink like fish.
Right. Cool.
So they,
Right.
It's-
Well,
it's
shippers.
3
right?
in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let's end it, man, because I think we've been for like an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
Fuck, dude. I'm super happy you agreed to chat with me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. Thank you for letting me in your place and take up your space.
No worries.
If you talk to your wife, we should maybe go for a beer or something if you're still down with that.
Yeah, totally.
Because Dan was supposed to see Neil Young, and it kind of got. It's just
I
tomorrow
was
night.
supposed to see Neil Young tonight, except it's tomorrow
Scheduling
night.
mishap, so
Yeah.
we have a bit of time. But dude, again, I appreciate it. It's awesome. Your stories are great, and I'm
Awesome.
glad we're sitting here side by side.
Totally.
Okay, man. Cool. Thank you.
Fuck, I made it to the end of one of your podcasts.
Yeah, sick. I think we still had the video the whole time too. Sweet.